Hello everybody, Matthew Armstrong here on day 71 of this Financial Freedom Challenge, this 100-day Financial Freedom Challenge. I'll tell you a story about Guru Nanak. Guru Nanak was a dedicated wise man, a spiritual seeker who studied the world's religions. And he was actually the founder of the Sikh religion. And he went studying all the different world's religions. He was open to it all, you know. And he went to Mecca. He was studying the Muslim religion. And he lay down in one of Mecca's like holy squares and was lying down in meditation with his feet pointed towards this stone that was embedded in a wall. It was actually a meteorite that they embedded in the wall, and they said it was a symbol of God because it came down from the skies, and they did it many years ago when, you know, they didn't really understand what meteorites were. And so they embedded it in the wall and said this is a symbol of God. And so Guru Nanak was lying with his feet pointed towards this stone. And they all rushed round him and they said this is blasphemy, and they kicked him and pulled at him and dragged him, and he said, brothers, why are you so upset? And they said, because you're pointing your feet toward, this is a symbol of God here, you're pointing your feet toward a symbol of God, and this is bad. It's bad to point your feet towards God. This is disrespectful. And Guru Nanak says, please brothers, tell me where God is not, and then I'll point my feet in that direction. And not one of them could answer him. And that's the thing, you know, a lot of people that go around saying that they're spiritual in some sense, on their high horses often are actually spiritual hypocrites. And we've all done it, right? In some form or other. There's not one of us on this planet that isn't actually a hypocrite. We're all hypocrites, right? You know, we just got to acknowledge it at some time or other, and sometimes we see ourselves doing it, we hear ourselves saying it, and we know we're doing it or we're saying it. Right? But so Guru Nanak could have made this point, right? You know, please show me where God is not. It's an unanswerable question, because how do we really know? It's only just an assumption. Just like those people back then, they assumed that this meteorite that had come from outer space and landed, that it was unexplainable to them back then. So they just said, this is a symbol of God. This is God. God sent this, and we'll put it up there and worship this stone, you know, this meteorite that's come from, not from this planet. So that's the thing. It's assumptions. We have assumptions about things, and we label them as good or bad. And based on those labelings, we take actions on that. So maybe there's something in your life that you're not doing, that you know you should be doing, but you're not doing it. And why are you not doing it? Well, maybe you're not doing it because of fear. Quite often the things we don't do in life is because of fear. And what's fear? Well, fear is an illusion. Fear is an assumption. It all comes down to assumption. Fear is an assumption that we're going to experience more pain than pleasure. That's what fear is. Irrational fear. If we're assuming that something is going to happen in the future that's going to give us pain in some form, whether it's physical, mental, emotional, whatever. That's what it is. It's an assumption. And more often than not, we can look at our lives and we can see that our fears haven't actually manifested 99.999% of the time. So we're going through life with all these assumptions about things, and we're getting angry about things and upset about things and afraid of things and procrastinating on things because we're making an assumption about them. So one of the great fears is the spiritual fear, the fear of breaking one's morals or ethics. And our morals are really, you know, what's from inside ourselves, what we feel is good or bad, right? Our ethics is what is between us and other people. That's what's ethical to do for ourselves and to others, right? Morals and ethics. And if we have a fear based on some sort of assumption about our religious upbringing or spiritual upbringing or something, based on that, then quite often we don't take actions because we don't want to displease our religious or spiritual leaders, or we don't want to displease God or our Creator, or whatever your belief is, right? So what it comes down to get past this, because this is a lot of people trip up on this. A lot of people trip up on this, especially when it comes to business, especially when it comes to finance, especially when it comes to money. Quite often, humans have a low self-worth because of their actual spirituality, where they feel they're not worthy. And they think that not shining is being humble. But that's not humbleness. You can still shine as bright as you can. You can have as much money as you want. You can do all that and still be humble, you know. So the important thing is to get over the fears. And you get over the fears by realizing that the fears aren't real, that they're illusions, they're assumptions. They might be assumptions based on probability from the past, but they're still assumptions, because the past doesn't equal the future unless you actually live there. So what it takes is awareness. Having awareness right now of who you are right here, right now, in this present moment, and having the awareness that all the thoughts flying in and out of your head, like I said, 99.99% of them are assumptions. Our belief systems, they're assumptions, right? So best thing to do is just observe them and be in the present moment and take the next best step you possibly can without the judgment, right? The folks that say they're spiritual, generally the most judgmental people you ever come across. Yeah? Especially when it comes to things in the third dimension. Because a lot of people think they're better than the third dimension or something. They think they're past it. But that's often a form of escapism. Often a form of coping, like a coping mechanism, so you don't have to deal with it. So if you're one of those sort of people that believes or sees yourself as your identity as spiritual, there's nothing wrong with that, absolutely not. But don't let it limit you. If you're a religious person, don't let it limit you. Don't let the fears, if there's fears connected with your spirituality or with your religion, then those are things that need to be questioned. Those are assumptions that need to be questioned. And we need to question all our assumptions. And we release our fears, we release our assumptions by asking a question. We ask the question, is this true? Is this true? And no, it's not true. And even if our brain comes back and says, well, yeah, it's true. You say, well, how can I know for sure it's true? And there's no answer to that. You can't know for sure. You cannot know for sure if your assumption of your fear is going to come true or not. Even if you try and justify it and say, well, based on past experience, based on this, that and that, but still it's not true, right? It's still an assumption. And when we're in a place of gratitude and of love, we can make far better decisions. When we're in a place when we are relaxed and aware, we can make far better decisions in our life. When we're in a place of fear, we generally don't make such good decisions. So it's a much better place to be in, is be in a place of presence. Have an awareness. Have an awareness that the thoughts that are flying through our head, they're not real, they're assumptions. And we can change them by just becoming aware that they're not real. The illusion falls away, the illusion drops. And then we can just get on with what we need to do in the world without all that interference, coming into the brain. Let go of the interference, detach from the interference. Then we stop all the judgment, which takes up so much energy. We stop all the fear, which takes up so much energy. And then we can just live. You know, we can just live. Live freely. Live freely. So I hope you got something from that. Hope you got an awareness from that, or even a distinction from that. And I'd like you to join our team by clicking the link below, joining our team and achieving financial freedom in this third dimensional plane by letting go of the the judgments and the fears, and it's just doing it and creating it and magnifying your life, because that's what it's all about. I'll see you in the next video.